Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, MBC Stitcher. I'm Matt and this is Augie, and this is a YouTube channel where I talk about cross stitch and other stuff. But cross stitch pretty much is at the beginning, and then we'll get into the other stuff a little bit later. You're trying to get comfortable. So today is Monday, February 7th. 2022, and I just got back very early this morning. Landed in Tulsa about 1:40, which there were several delays, and I wasn't supposed to get back that late from my trip to Pittsburgh for the Steel City Stitchers retreat that was this last weekend, Friday and Saturday and Sunday morning. But it was a wonderful event, my first time going to any kind of cross-stitch retreat. I really enjoyed it. I met lots of people. It was so much fun. If you were there, it was amazing. And so thank you everybody that came to that and everything. It was such a great time. Thanks you to the Steel City Stitchers. They're as amazing in person as they are in their videos, and anything we've had any kind of interactions online, they're just so great. And yeah, it is funny though, because they mentioned, they're like, you're a lot taller than we expected. Because you just see all these people, sitting down in boxes on videos. You don't think of like how tall are they in real life. But I am like 6'3". I'm a tall person. And then I was like, Kristen said that to me, and I said, I didn't realize how short you are, because she's much shorter than I expected. I concluded that it was the same reason. Most of my height is in my legs, and most of her shortness is in her legs. So, you can't see those in the video. So I think that's why you have that different concept of just, when you see people in boxes. But no, it was a great time. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But first of all, I just kind of give you an idea of what all we're going through. I have stitched a lot. It's been probably 4 weeks since my last video, so I have a lot of stitching to show. I stitched on multiple projects at the retreat, and I purchased a lot of stuff, so I have a very full section of haul. And I've got several, actually, 1, 2, 3, I have 6 FFOs, which that's like insane amount of FFOs ever. And so some of them are actual finishes that I also FFO'd. But let's go ahead and I'll start with the FFOs. You're not gonna wanna stay up here very long, are you? Augie stayed at my parents' while I was gone over the weekend, and they have a new puppy that is 4 months old, that is very energetic and wants to play all the time, and Augie does not really want to play much. He did play some, I heard, but for the most part he's like, no, I don't want to do that. But he is very happy to be home, I think. But yeah, and he's also very vocal when he's not happy. So my mom was like, yeah, when he was the last day, I definitely had a headache. I'm like, yeah, he is. Unfortunately, corgis can be very loud, and he is one that definitely is. So, not all of them. Some of them are they're all crazy in their own way, and he certainly is. But yeah, he's a great dog. Anyway, yeah, I don't think he's gonna stay here very long. So first of all, let's talk about FFOs. I will do the one I finished today, FFO'd it today. I'll do this one first. So this is Holiday Magic from Ink Circles. I finished this on the last day of the year last year, on New Year's Eve, and I started and finished it all that day. This is on a 40 count linen that I received as a gift from one of my friends, and then I used poinsettia from Stitch Me as the floss that I used, and I did it 1 strand over 2 on 40 count. And then this shadow box thing, decoration, so it came like this, and then the clip was there. I just FFO'd the stitching onto a piece of board, like a wood board that you can also purchase at Michael's. And then I put a layer of batting on it, and then I put the linen on it, wrapped it around there, and attached it. So the clip was already there, and I just clipped it in. But this was, otherwise, this was completely the way it was. It was part of the holiday decorations at Michael's, and I got it when it was like 70 or 80% off, something like that. So, you know, it was a while ago. Or it was a little bit after the holidays, and I just happened to be in there, and it was great. So that's what I did. I'm really happy with this. This will go up next year when I decorate for Christmas. And yeah, I just thought that would be perfect. And so, like, using the wood board, I had thought about it. I wasn't really sure how to do it, but when we were up at the Steel City Stitchers retreat, they used that in their finishing, and I got, you know, kind of like a, this is how you do it, and here, use hot glue and this kind of thing. So I used the skills that they taught me to do that. So let's go ahead and talk about that one then. So we're going kind of in reverse chronological order of when these things were finished. But this is my Steel City Stitchers piece from Hello from Liz Matthews designed it, and it was if you went to the retreat, you received it in the materials, and then they showed you how to finish it when we were there. So they provided all the materials to finish it. There's this yellow board, there's another board that the piece is wrapped around, there's rickrack, there's some bows here, and then there's a little, you can see it, there's a little bridge that is there in the middle for it, that's been spray painted, and that you know, we just, everything gets attached by hot glue essentially. And yeah, it was really fun to do. I really enjoyed, and I did this on a piece of 32 count Lugana from Jody from her Fabric of the Month Club. And then I did my own conversion to all of the colors that I felt like. It's all done in sulky except for the metallics, which is Diamant. And I think I used one brown that was not sulky, that was Anchor actually. And it was like for the spool parts of the bridges that I was like, I guess I need to do that. Since I replaced the black, I had to do something else, so I used a dark brown that I just happened to have out. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I'm gonna put this up on my bookshelf with my other memories of trips and stuff, so it'll remind me of going to Pittsburgh. And yeah, so that was a great time. Okay, so next up, I stitched this a while ago. I think I finished it in 2020. But this is, and I don't remember the name of the pattern, but it's a Chinese panda or a China panda, because it's like a Chinese landscape from China, but it's in the shape of a panda. You can see it's, and then this is a piece of 32 count Jobelin from Stitch Me. I think it's Happy or Sherbert. Maybe Sherbert. It's one of those two. I don't remember what it is from my memory now, but and then I finished it on the canvas board. You know, I think it's a 9x9 canvas that you can get from Michael's. And then I got this Luck, Good Fortune, Prosperity Charm and used a red ribbon around the, or a red cording around the edge to give it, to add something else to it. And I finished this in time for, or around the time of Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year. And so, yeah, I knew how I wanted to finish it for a while. I just hadn't actually found all the pieces. So I got all that together and I finished it in time for New Year's, for Chinese New Year's. And so I have this hanging up in my living room for now, but I think it'll be like a part of my growing seasonal collection of things to put up at different times of year. But yeah, I really enjoyed working on this a while ago, and glad to have something out of my under the bed box and actually finished now. So that's another one, because I was like, oh, I'm about to go on a trip, why don't I finish some things? So most all of this is in the last week that I finished. There's one that was a little bit before that, but okay. I don't think I showed this, so I think I also finished this, and then I stitched this at the end of last month, January, and then finished it this last week as well. So this is from Invernio, the Satsuma Street winter pattern that is, has a 3x3 set of 9 motifs, and it calls for DMC, but including some of their variegated ones. And so I've been stitching the individual motifs just on pieces of 16 count white Aida, and finishing them on the little canvas frames, and just enjoying that. I have another one to show as well, but this was the more recent finish. I also finished this snowflake. So these will go up. I've done 3 of the spring ones, and I'm not doing all 9 of each of them. I'm just kind of doing which ones I feel like doing, but at least 3 from each pattern. And so I will, these will go up. These 2 went up, and I took down the spring ones. Even though spring was not the last season that existed, it was the only other one that I have done some of. So I started, I've got some winter ones to have up for the next little bit until spring comes again, and then we'll put those back up. And then hopefully I'll also have summer and fall, to supplement and add to that, so when those things can go up. But yeah, okay, one other finish, and this one, I think I showed it before, but I did fiddle with it and get it into the frame that I picked out. So this is Stop Asian Hate from Stitches by Dre, and this is one of the Prudence Kitsch, and it's available on Etsy, the pattern. And Prudence Kitsch is the character here, and it says in Korean, Stop Asian Hate, and then the hashtag Stop Asian Hate is written down here. I used Hand Dyed by Rolanda floss for her dress, and then the DMC, and then the black, I think is just DMC black. I don't think I had switched it to Anchor. Maybe I did, I don't remember. And the fabric is a 32 count Jobelin. I think, it may be Tsunami. I'm not sure what it is, but it's it's the light blue and kind of cream modeling, or maybe the modeling is blue and then it's a cream kind of color. And then this frame I found at a garage sale 2 years ago, not 3, but pre-pandemic, more than 2 years ago. Went garage sailing one Saturday or Sunday morning, and found this one and one exactly like it, and they were like $1 each. So I was like, I'm sure there will be some cross stitch that will fit in there. So I picked it up, popped out the glass, and put in, I don't use the glass on it, and I haven't really had problems with like dust accumulating on stuff, but yeah, Really enjoy this. This is now hanging in my hallway, so I have something up in the hall. Otherwise, it was kind of some bare shelves or bare walls. So I don't know that I've said this in a while, but one of the things that I was like got me back into stitching as much, and then why I've continued to stitch, is that I was looking for things to be able to put up on my walls because I had when I got my house. And so I mean I have a lot more stuff on the walls now, but there's certainly more stuff to add and more stuff to finish, and then also do the whole like switching out stuff when you get it more. Okay, let's do, what did I do? Well, I had some note cards about something, about, oh, there they are. Let's do the giveaway. Well, I'll do that later. I have a giveaway from my last video. I'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so some of the stuff, we'll do some of the Stitchy Kindness and things from the Steel City Stitchers Retreat. So first of all, I sat at a table with lots of people. We actually squeezed in another chair because we needed to fit somebody else in. But Memphis Sarah E is her handle on Instagram and here on Flosstube. She was in the Dark Queen of the Sea support group with me that Alexis did and Julie did, and so that's how we started talking, but more stuff as well. And then we were both going to this, and so we kind of palled around for most of the event, and we did. So the first night. Let's talk about this. So if you're in the United States, you probably heard about this winter storm that came through last week, and it did a lot of things. Well, the storm really hit here Wednesday afternoon and evening. It started snowing then and through that night, and then it was snowed. It continued to snow some on Thursday, but and I was scheduled to fly out Thursday afternoon. My original flight was at noon. And it was supposed to be a flight. I was supposed to fly from here, Tulsa, to DFW, and then to Pittsburgh. And I was flying American as the airlines, and we did that. And then but then the storm impacted, and it really impacted DFW a lot. They also had more ice. So here the temperature dropped below freezing, but then we weren't really having precipitation during that time. The precipitation came after that, and so we didn't get a whole lot of ice. We got a lot more snow, so instead of doing this simple trip here to DFW to Pittsburgh, I flew from Tulsa to Charlotte, North Carolina, and then to Pittsburgh. And that was generally pretty easy. Now, I have been to Charlotte before, and that is a very big airport, and there is a lot, and I was essentially going from one end to the other. There were a lot of people movers and a lot of walking, but I had time. I didn't really have time to eat during that connection, but I did have it did make it. I wasn't worried about that. And then we get into Pittsburgh, and by the time we get to Pittsburgh, it started snowing and sleeting in Pittsburgh. It hadn't really been, they had rain before, but then it started getting colder and then other stuff. So that was an adventure, but everything was fine. I essentially drove about 40 miles an hour on the highways because it's like, I'm not going any faster. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know the quality of these roads. It was pretty dead. There was not a lot of people on the roads. I mean, it was like 11 o'clock at night. And so it was pretty easy to get around and get where I needed to go. So I had a rental car and it was easy to do that. But Sarah was like, hey, do you want me to save you a seat? So I stayed in a different hotel Thursday night. And then I switched to the hotel where the convention was for Friday night, Saturday night. And so I did that and did so Sarah was already there and they were, they had opened up the room and she said, do you want us to save you a seat? And I was like, oh yeah, please. So I sat with her, Zan, Crazy Band Lady Stitcher, who was amazing. They're friends from Memphis, but they also Zan does Flosstube and Instagram as well. She's hilarious. She's great. And then Ymir, Almond M&Ms, was there at our table as well. And then Heather Gorski, the Frog Stitcher. And we also had some other people. We had Sarah, Big Red _ Human Crafter is her name, which she changed her name while we were there. But it's a play off of what we do in the shadows. So it's pretty great. And then there were a lot of people, and I'm not the best with names, and all of that stuff. And Cheryl was at our table. Rolodex was nearby. Carla, Rolodex Stitcher, she was around, and Colleen, Rebel Stitcher Designs, the needleminder and online cross-stitch store, or she has a lot of stuff, but she sells fabric and stuff beyond the needleminders now. Colleen was there. It's great to meet her and kind of get to know her more than just like admiring from afar. So that was really fun. And lots of other people. It was a great time. We really had an amazing time. They came a little bit after the beginning, but Justine and Jackie X's and Hoes is their floss tube. They are hilarious. And I have, I think somebody had mentioned them, but I hadn't actually started watching their stuff yet. But I did like Thursday night. I was like, oh, these people are hilarious. And so like, yeah. And I have now watched through episode 2, but I'm binging their floss tube. They only have 7 episodes up. So it's easier to binge because there's not as much to go back to do. But they're great. They're sisters from Michigan. Jackie is in Chicago. She's a performer, an improver, and Justine is in Michigan still, Kalamazoo, and yeah, so it's a great show, or they have a great channel. Go check them out. We also had Barb Stitching with Grammy, who is with underscores in there. She did those bags that the Steel City Stitcher showed last video with like on the vinyl, their logo and everything. It was really great. She's amazing. So we had a really good time. Everything. The Crafty U was the store there. They came. It was amazing. I have a lot to show. A lot of fabric. By fabric, but yeah, it was great. And yeah. So we also, I'm just like fondling this Frogger. One of the things that my table mates, some of my table mates, Sarah, Big Red, Human Crafter, she made some Froggers for some people. She had some with some this one, I was like, yeah, that's what I need. It says shit. So, because, you know, like when you're needing to frog, you typically have this kind of reaction or something along those lines. So that was so nice of her. And I did use it because talking around, I had a few more mistakes than normal. But I also got this needle minder from Zan, who handed, she had some of these different ones. I got the snowflake one. She gave me another one later as well. And then Jennifer also gave out little pouches of stuff with some candy, some floss and stuff. She had these frog needle minders. She's the frog stitcher. She does a lot of frogs. Any pattern that has a frog in it, I think she pretty much is going to stitch, if that's what, so she also gave a skein. So this is limited edition, but what is it? I think it's, maybe it's just called, is this just called limited edition from Gast? It's pretty. It's a brown, kind of to a taupey gray brown. It's really pretty. And then your name is escaping me, and I'm so sorry, but one of the other, and I'll put it down below. I'm not good at editing, so it won't just magically appear, but it will be in the drop-down box. But one of the other attendees made needle books for everybody and let everybody pick out which one they wanted. These are great. You know, you can have your extra needles in there. You don't have to worry about them like this is something substantial versus, you know, a needle or just a piece of felt or something. So I'm excited to put that into my container and everything. And yeah, so I'll have more stuff to talk about in haul. I think we also got, and maybe in my haul, I think it is in here. I'll show it later. So I do have another piece of Stitchy Kindness from there, but yes. Okay, so I'll do my new start from going there. I started Blue Velvet from Ink Circles. It's there's Red Velvet. I think there's another one now too. But these are part of her kind of mandala patterns. And they're not very, this is not very big. It's 91 by 91, so it's definitely easy to do. And it's done in a single color. It's a variegated floss from Sulky. I'm doing with the called for thread, and then I am using a fabric from Jody that I received in the fabric of the month. So this is a 32 count Lugana, beautiful coral, and I think that blue is just popping off of it. So this bear I got from Zan, Crazy Band Lady, and then I got this Albus Fan Club needle minder from Rebel Stitcher, and so they went on there because this was what I started then. I think this polar bear is going to move to a different pattern, but I was very happy to have it on there while I was at the retreat, and so yeah. That's my new start that I did. And I worked on different things. I didn't work on one piece for an entire day. I would change around, and I kind of just did whatever I felt like. But yeah, I did a little bit on this piece as well, but it's another Ink Circles. So this is Forest of Sumatra by Ink Circles. A beautiful piece, and I am doing this on a piece of 36 count linen from Be Stitch Me called Toast. and with the called for Gloriana silks, and it's just amazing. I love it so much. So I got this motif and then these two smaller ones, and that's about it. I worked on it Friday night, I think. So yeah, it's a great piece. I really enjoy working on it. But I wanted to take it because it's like, I want something that's just like one color and I don't have to worry about changing colors. This was definitely a good choice for that. Sorry. Trying to stay organized with everything that I have. I did not take this with me to the retreat, but I did work on it before I left. This is actually part of my WIPGO goals. One of the things I was trying to get done in January, which I did, was 5 days on fandom pieces, and I broke it up in 2 different Star Wars pieces. The first one you'll see a little bit later, and then I spent a day on this one called the Baby Yoda. It's by, excuse me, Nikki Pattern on on Etsy, and this is obviously going to be in color, but I printed it black and white, so that's what I have. This is an older piece. I started this my first year back to stitching a lot, or within my first year of learning about and Flosstube, Instagram, and all that stuff, and so. I haven't really worked on it. I don't know if I worked on it much at all last year, but I did. I'm pretty sure I started this in my first mania, so right after I started Flosstube. And this is on an 18 count navy Ada from Witchelt. Excuse me, sorry. And here's where I got to. I added in just some more, kind of filled in more of the ear and stuff, and just worked a little bit all over. I am not super excited by this. I really like the way these look, the effect of them, but they're doing the silhouette with the inside thing is, I mean, it's pretty much full coverage. It is full coverage within the design. And so kind of like, maybe I want to change this out. I don't know. I'm not planning on working on this anytime soon. Either I may restart it or I just may not do it. Things change. Your taste and what you're excited by changes over time, and I've heard lots of other Flosstubers talk about that. Steph from Pam and Steph, who they were not able to make it to the retreat because of the weather, and that was very sad because I was very looking forward to meeting them. But yeah, this was a great piece, and I would be, this is an example of something that I'm not sure if I want to continue to stitch on it or not. But not wanting to work on it right now anytime soon. Okay. So I also worked a little bit on this, I think, from the last time I showed it. But this is Lady Cat from Nora Corbett. This is one of her Orchid Party fairies. And I'll show you where I am. This is a piece of 32 count Lugana in the colorway Gaia from Be Stitch Me. And I have finished the wings, all of the green and stuff. There's some beads that'll go up here, but the wings are done. And I came down here and started working more on this. I did some more of the pink and some of the white and some other spots. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I love this piece. I did take out some of her skin because I think I'm going to do a skin conversion, but I haven't decided what. And I may do it 1/1 or not. I'm not sure, but I really enjoy this piece, and it's probably of a full Nora piece, it's probably my closest to being done. My air my deco spirits that are I'm doing them 4 individually instead of one big piece, I could get the one I have started done, air. If I was trying to finish one soon, that would probably be the one that I would get furthest down. But yeah, so that's my lady cat. Okay, my other fandom piece that I worked on is, you've seen this a while, vintage travel poster from Country Magic Stitch on Etsy. This is a Star Wars theme from the planet Naboo, which is first seen in episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which proves that the creator of something can also do something really bad. Anyway, I do love the way the planet looks, despite the other problems with episode 1. But yes, I am moving quite along. So these are 4-page projects, and by that, like they're across 4 pages. I'm using it, well, I'm working off of a tablet, and so it's 1 page, but you know, where the page lines fall. It's essentially like somewhere around here, or I don't know, but I've been working on up this way. I'm trying, because there's a lot of this color and then some clouds up here, but I'm trying to fill in more of the pieces. I filled in a lot more in the building and kind of came up more. But I'm making my way that way, and I'm really enjoying this. This is just on an 18 count white Ada from Michaels, and I am just using the called for floss. It's a wonderful, fun, and easy stitch, something when I need something, when I want to work on something that doesn't require a whole lot of complex thinking. This is definitely one that I reach for. So yeah, that was good to do during the retreat. And okay, next up, I did a lot of work on this one at the retreat. I was very happy with it. I don't have the actual pattern in here. I do have a picture though, I can show that. No, that's the wrong function. Okay, this is Cleocatra from MBC Stitcher, and hold on, I just highlighted across it. This is what it will look like. So that's the finish, what it will look like. And so it's a cat lady Cleopatra themed. It was part of the Meow the Merrier series, which they did for Expo last fall. And they used, some of the designers were kind of a continuation of the Moo the Merrier from prior, using the same colors, and they did a sulky pack of it. And so Michelle did that, continued on with that to do this one. And so I am doing that, but I did replace there's a yellow, I used it in the flower, but I replaced it with metallic diamant gold for in the other parts of it, because I was like, it should be gold. But this is how far I got. So I completely filled in her dress of the red, got more of her body up here, did this whole flower, did this scarab, and I'm doing that. Now, this, I messed up a little bit and I made it a little bit wider. So I'm gonna fudge around and make it fit, but I'm really happy with the way it looks. And I'm using 2 strands of sulky, and this is a 14 count white Ada that was printed by my friend Rainy Day Stitcher, Jessica. She just put it in her printer, her inkjet printer, and printed a piece of a picture of papyrus. And so that's what this looks, that's what this is. I love it. I think it's perfect for this piece. The colors just pop out of it. I mean, the gold is a little, you can still see it. I mean, in person, it's perfect. So I am pretty far along with this. I need to do some more. You know, there's more to do, but I really enjoyed working on this. This was easy to work on. The needle minder there says Miss Vanjie. It's from Rebel Stitcher Designs. I don't know that she has any of those left, but she had some drag race themed needle minders, and I got that one and one other one. So yeah, but this one is really fun. I like the Bendy Stitchy Cleopatra, so I'm probably, I may be about halfway done, because the border is only like 2 wide, but it's kind of all the way around. So that's probably a big chunk of the stitching there. And then there's a cartouche thing. So yeah, not quite. Okay, this one I'm behind, but I did get progress on it since last time you saw it. This is the Temperature Library 2 from Christie's Corner on Etsy, Dr. Christie on Instagram. So this is a temperature bookshelf, and the idea is that you have an individual book for each day of the year, and it coordinates to a temperature for you. I'm doing a little bit different. I'm using both the high temperature and the low. I haven't finished stitching all of January, but here's where I am at. So I've got quite a bit, and I'm using satin stitches on the books, kind of makes it look more like the end of a book. So the main color, or the one that's used a little bit more, is the high, and then the low is the outlining and some of the bands in the actual books. So that's how I broke that up. This is a piece of 32 count Jobelin in the colorway Vintage from Be Stitch Me, which was the fabric of the month, I believe, in November. I'm pretty sure. So, and then I'm using just the called for DMC. I may change the colors, and so part of the hesitation of me adding more books is that I want to look at the color scheme and maybe want to change that a little bit. I like the colors, but I think I want to rearrange some of it to kind of give a little bit more of a strong gradient effect. But that's kind of been my hesitation to just continue forward. But I am working more on the books, and I am keeping track of the temperatures in my Excel spreadsheet that one of my coworkers helped me do. That essentially I have I have it set up to where I put in the temperature, and then it tells me what color to use. I mean, you don't need an Excel sheet to do that, but you can, and my friend helped me do that. So and then this is a project bag that I got, I think, in the spring Be Stitch Me box. I'm not sure who made it. I don't see a tag, so, but it's quite, I mean, it works great. So okay, so I also worked some more on my Ink Circles Elemental Dragons Earth, which looks like this. Is the pattern Ink Circles Elemental Dragon Earth. And I'm doing this on a piece of 40 count Verdal, and the colorway is called Earth, and it's from Be Stitch Me. And I finished up this dragon over here, and I started on the dragon over here. So there's one full more dragon, and then this one, and there's a little bit of stuff in the middle here, and then I gotta finish this thing at the edge. So you can see it's coming along quite well. I definitely. So I have on my WIPGO board to do, I think there's 2 spots for a total of 10 days on ink circles. And this pretty much filled up the first one that got called in January. I'm probably going to be able to get it done. I think getting this done this year is a really accomplishable goal and something I would really like to do. So I have all the other dragons in the series as well, and I have kitted them up with the same count fabric and Verdal, and so maybe that is, yeah. So I'm planning to do that, and it's I'm using 1 strand of thread on that. Okay, let's talk about full coverage, shall we? So first up, this is the piece that I probably spent the most time on. One of my WIPGO goals for this month is an extra 2,500 stitches on my full coverages. And I don't count the Needlebook piece in that. I probably could, but I haven't been, so I don't have I just don't have it yet. Okay, so, no, that's not what I want. Apologies. Okay, let's do view mockup. Okay, so this is the piece. This is what it'll look like when it's done. This is Intimate Encounter by Sandra Santera, is the artist, and then it's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So this is the piece that I've spent the most time working on, and like, I really like it. So I'm now up to, let's see, 5.73%. So I'm more than 5% done, which I'm really excited about. But here's where I'm at. I did finish my next diagonal that I was working on. Okay, there's a couple of little stitches of some individual colors or stuff. I have to go back and do those, but I've kind of gone beyond that. I'm done with the diagonal from my point of view. So that's what it looks like. We essentially got more of the hand here of Hearn and his forearm, and then this is part of his stomach, because he's kind of leaning over here, so that's part of him, and then more of the background, the grass or whatever. So and this is on 28 count easy guide or easy grid, whatever, the one that's 10 by 10 squares. Lugana with the called for DMC, and yeah, I'm gonna have to move my Q-snap the next time I come back to this, but I really enjoy working on this piece a lot, and it's been what I work on most Friday, full coverage Fridays, Stitch and Button, Vicky, who is one of the administrators in the Virtual Stitchers group, she and I were talking about, so I had mentioned, I really want to get more full coverage stitched for this year in one of my videos at the end of last year. And she messaged me, yeah, I want to do that too. What do you think we could do? And we kind of were playing around some stuff. I had set some additional goals, some monthly goals for this year for my full coverages. And then we were like, what if we work, because we usually stitch together on Friday nights, or at least somewhat. She usually comes on at some point, and I'm usually on there Friday nights. And so we're like, what if we did full coverage Fridays? And then that's become kind of a thing that other people have done too. So I'm really happy with this progress here. So my goal is to get 3,000 stitches every month in my full coverages. And if I get it, then I start counting towards the next month, because at the end of the year, I would like to have, if I did 3,000 every month, I think it's, 3,000 every month. And then, so then at the end of the year, I would have 36,000 stitches. And then I have 2 WIPGO goals that are an extra 2,500 stitches each. So that's an extra 5,000, which means I'll have 41,000 stitches done between my full coverages. And I rotate. So when I finish a diagonal, I go on to the next one, and then I work on that till I finish a diagonal and then go to the next one. Sometimes I spend a little more time on something just because I want to, or if I'm getting close to a page finish, then I'll continue to work on. This one was the last one that got a page finish, but it won't be for a little bit. And when I say page finish, I mean by stitch count. It's my goal. I take the total number of stitches and divide it by the number of pages in the pattern. So I'm not stitching a page at a time. I can't really do a traditional page finish. I've calculated my own. But yeah, intimate encounter. I love this one. I'm also working in 20 wide diagonals, so that is a little bit bigger. Next up, I'm gonna show you Once Upon a Fairy Tale by Amy Stewart. And this is charted by Heaven Earth Designs, and I'm doing the regular chart, like not supersized, not max color, but it's still big. There's still a lot of colors. And I had finished my diagonal, I think, since the last time. But I'm working on 10 wide diagonal on this one because there's so many more color changes, and the picture is so much more intricate that it makes it easier to do it that way versus trying to do it like 20 wide. I may have like a stitch of this color and then it's also way over here, but I don't have anything stitched between, and so it's a lot of counting, or it's just a little bit harder. So it's a little bit easier to do it when I've got a 10 wide. But here's where I'm at. So I did finish the last diagonal, and then I added some more of some of the colors to try and help with making sure I'm kind of guiding myself in the right spot. But yeah, I really do enjoy this piece. This is it is my biggest piece that I've started, even though it's not the max size or color or max color. Okay. Did I show the mock-up? I don't know that I did. If I did, I'm sorry. I have not had a whole lot of sleep since I came in last night. But this is what the pattern will look like when it's done. So I've got this part down here. I don't think I did this. Sorry. I've got this part down here done. I don't think I've gotten to the boat yet, or maybe parts of it, but I don't think the mermaid. I don't think I've gotten to her yet, so you can see her there. She probably will be coming up in the next diagonal, but I think it's gonna still look great. I've kind of been playing around with, I'm not gonna restart this one, but if I do another one of her bookshelves, if I wanna try and do a max color or super size or whatnot, but it's, maybe the max color would be the way to go. I don't know. I kind of play around with it, going back and forth. I have no idea. But I'm really happy with it. Okay, next up is my new start of a full coverage. Last time I asked you guys to vote. And so let's do the giveaway first before we get to that. Okay, so I asked you guys, I pulled up two charts, a fairy and a dragon, and I had said, I'm considering starting one of these. Which one of them would you pick? And I would give away a needle minder for each one of my pieces. And so you all voted, and I will give you the results of that. So first up, for the dragon group, who was the majority, the winner is Christine Foster. Her comment said, "You had me laughing so much about the fallopian trees." That's the winter deer. I would like to see you stitch the dragon. I'm so behind on Flosstube. Off to watch more videos. But yeah, she's, so Christine, you're a winner. So send me a message on Instagram, or there is an email attached to this video, or this account, a Gmail. I don't check it that often, so it's quicker probably for you to just message me on Instagram. My handle is down below, and then we'll take care of picking out which one and me getting her address so I can send it to you. And then the other winner, so my other option was a fairy, and the other winner is Darlene LK. She said, I like the fairy and hopefully you will enjoy working on it. Love seeing the progress each video. Love the royal garden pattern that you received. It's currently on my, I cut off the message. I think she said it's currently on my to buy list or something along those lines. So that was part of the grab bag that I got from Fire Poppies. So Darlene, which I believe you are DLK Crafts on Etsy. So I think I've ordered things from you, but you also need to send me a message so we can make sure we can figure out which one you want, and I will send it to you and we'll get that going. So yes. I'm going the wrong way. No, I'm not. Okay, so that's the giveaways. So thank you everyone for entering, commenting, all of those things. I really do appreciate all the comments, and I read all of them and heart them as I do. A lot of times they come in and I'm at work or something, I may not be able to respond, but I try to heart them as I see them and to do all that. So thank you so much. Y'all are great. Meeting everybody at the convention and everything, it's really why I wanted to do this more than like trying to that's what the goal is here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, so I, like the majority of you, decided to go with the dragon. So this is the art is Carla Morrow, and then this is charted by Unconventional X Stitch, and this is Groundling, which is the name of the dragon. So it's like an earth dragon, and I this time started this corner. The other ones I've started at this corner, but I started here this time. So it's a lot of big blocks of color because this is some like watercolor mountains at this point. So there's a lot of blue and white. And so you can barely see that, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So I went ahead and moved into the next diagonal some, but I was just wanting to stitch on this a little bit more. I think I've got 500 stitches now. So this one is not as big, and so it will, because of the way it's, 599. I should do one more stitch, so I'm at 600. But because of the way the pattern is, there's not as much color changes. Really, so right where I'm at, but I'm sure that will change. But yeah. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one and look forward to continuing to work on this and getting some progress. So I believe what I will be working on Once Upon a Fairy Tale first on my full coverages before I come back. But once I finish that diagonal, the next diagonal, then I'll come back to this one, and then I'll go to Intimate Encounter and start over again. So no plans to start a new full coverage anytime soon, but if this gets out before the 9th, which I plan to because I'm also off work tomorrow, so I'm hoping to get this downloaded, uploaded, and do all the things in case I need to do any editing or anything. So hopefully this goes out tomorrow. If so, you have until midnight the 9th to do to get 50% off on Heaven Earth Designs website. So if you've been eyeing a Haid, I have a couple I'm going to purchase that I need to complete that transaction. They're kind of sitting in a cart right now, but yeah, you should do that. Okay, let's see. That's all the stitching. now we've got haul and books. I will be talking about some books at the end of this. So we're already an hour in and there's gonna be a lot. So this is gonna be a long video. And let's go forward. Okay, so I purchased the first 2 patterns in the Year in the Woods series from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is the fox that you've seen lots of places. Lots of people are doing this one. And then the swans, which is pattern number 2. Number 3 I have ordered, which is the jackalope. And so that will be coming at some point. I've also ordered fabric. Brandy at Bee Stitch Me put together a fabric pack of colors that she dyed for this piece. So the way the designer has it kind of set up is you've got 4 different fabrics, and you've got number 12, number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Essentially, it's the seasons. And so I am wanting to do them all on one piece, do these side by side, the 3 in a row on one piece of fabric, and then do the next one, and do the next one, and do the next one. And then that's something that I can put up. I would like to do it on something where I can change it out. So either the same frame or something where I could easily take it off and switch it out, or if it's maybe it's something where it would fit the same size, so I can have it up on the wall for those 3 months of the year and then switch it out to the next season, because it's kind of like the seasons. So these are part of winter, the fox and the swan, and then the jackalope is more, or jackrabbit. I think I said jackalope. It's a real animal, or a non-cryptid animal. It is a jackrabbit, and that one starts the spring one. So they also do use they use a few overdyes, but they're not like crazy in the overdyes. So there's just a couple, and then yeah. Okay, I also joined the Color and Cotton Floss of the Month, and I'm in the Brights Club. They had some spots open, and I was looking on their website, and I was like, okay, I'll join that. And then the way it works is they, until you cancel it, they charge your card every month on a certain day, and then they ship it out, and then you get it. So I've only got this set so far, but the first one I have is Lime Sherbet, which is more green. That's showing really yellow, but it's a lot more green. Then we've got Orchid, which is purple. It's more lavender than this. Maybe, hold on. Let's see if I can change. That's kind of better, yeah. Okay, so this is Orchid, Purple Rain, beautiful purple, Robin's Egg, beautiful teal, and then Tiger Lily, beautiful orange. So I plan to build up a stash of that and can use that instead of other overdyes as needed. I also ordered some Ada from 123 Stitch, especially some Picture This Plus, just some larger pieces because it's, I like having it in case I want to stitch on something that I'm going to use Ada for. So I got this piece of 18 count Herald, which is a nice dark green. I also bought Jade, which is another, it's a light green, but also 18 count Ada. And this was from 123 Stitch. Picture This Plus Mystic, which is one of my favorite colors. It's dark blue, navy, some modeling in this version. I really like the linen. I was looking for some 36 count linen, but I didn't see, they had the Ada, and I like them both, so I went in and got that. Okay, spoiler alert. If you are in the Bird Crush Club and you have not received your February bird, or you don't want to see what it is, please turn away, fast forward about 30 seconds or a minute, and yeah, about 30 seconds. Okay, well, a minute anyway. So this month the pattern is modeled after the black-bellied whistling ducks, which is the name of this species of birds. And so this is the pattern that she did. So it's called they're kind of right in there. And then we got a Threadworks variegated floss, which is the body of the ducks. So I think it'll look beautiful. This is 10422. Don't know what the color is, or the name of it is, but yeah. I'm really happy about this. She did also say a hint towards what the next month is going to be, so I'm very excited about that. That should be really pretty. I have Stellar's J kitted. She's not doing, all of the pieces are on the same, they're the same size, so you could interchange them in the same kind of frame, but they are not all, the called for all of them is not, sorry, the same fabric. Like, she uses different fabric, but yeah, so there's that. Okay, so now I've got some of the stuff that I purchased. Is Victor's thing, I don't know that it got in here. I think I may have missed it. Well, we'll talk about that. Okay, so I've kind of got this in different spots. Okay, I ordered, so the Sunshine Stitchers are doing a, in their Facebook group, they are doing a designer focus for each month. And Garon is doing a little sale, I think it's 10% off of patterns for those designers, or, well, the first one there were also the embellishment packs, but you know, to go through that month. So I ordered a few things from them. January was Nora Corbett / Mirabilia month, and so I did a little bit. Oh, that was also, I did work on Lady Cat. That was why, another reason why it was like, oh, it's that month, I want to do that. And so I ordered a pattern and then some other stuff related to that. First of all, I got Raven. She's from Nora Corbett. It's one of her bewitching pixies. And I've liked this one and I wanted to get it. I don't have any immediate plans to stitch it, but this was designed, or it was released in 2016, Raven by Nora Corbett. I also did, I got the Winter White Santa embellishment pack, so the beads that go with that piece, which I have already purchased. And then they had some fabric that they suggested. This was not on sale, but I really liked the idea of it as it was shown, and I thought, yeah, why don't I do that? So this is Fabric Flare, and so it's a printed fabric, but this is what I'm gonna put Winter Santa on. I think that's amazing. So it's a snowy field, it's in portrait mode versus landscape, and it is a 32 count linen that we have here. I think it's gonna look great. I'm really excited to do that. And I like stitching from the bottom up, so that'll be a lot. I should be able to figure out how to stitch Santa on this from that if I start in the middle of the bottom, something along those lines. So that would be great. I have several Santas that I want to get finished before I start this one, so I don't think I'm going to start anytime soon, but I was really happy to have more of the stuff together for it. Okay. I received my fabric of the month. Ooh, I know. No. Yeah. I got Jody fabric of the month that I already put away and I forgot about. Okay. That's okay. So I got from Be Stitch Me, I got my fabric of the month. And I got Periwinkle. This is the her colorful fabric, and it's a 36 count linen. This is not a new color, if I'm correct, I think, but it's a very nice, pretty light purple, very beautiful modeling. I really like this. It's more subtle in person, I think. Well, yeah, but it's really pretty. I love her stuff, and I love doing stuff on big, vibrant fabric. So yeah, this is gonna definitely be a thing. And then her neutral, which I get in Jobelin, 32 count, is called Coconut Shell, and it's a beautiful, creamy, light brown, very subtle. It's really pretty. I love this. Is a beautiful piece. You could do lots of things on this. It's a nice neutral color to when you need to kind of have something that sets off most other stuff. So now I am planning for my birthday in May to do a new start of the Garden Stars by Ink Circles, which is a really big piece, and it has lots of different greens in it, and I'm planning to do it with silks. I'm just buying some different ones and some things that I like, and I'm trying to plan to do that. There's a really big star in the middle of it that is and it's like, if you're using DMC, it requires like 5 skeins or something like that. It's like, oh wow. Now I'm planning to do it on 40 count over 1, 40 count linen over 1, and I saw this the silk in the Be Stitch Me winter box, and I just loved it. It's called Evergreen, and anyway, and so I messaged Brandy. I was like, hey, do you have more of that? I love it. It's really beautiful. I would love to do something, but I need more of that color. Do you have more, or could you make it? And she's like, I do have some. So I purchased it, and then she sent it with my fabric and stuff of the month. So this is Evergreen. It's a beautiful green silk. Love that. And then I'm also in her silk of the month. I don't know if I was supposed to get 2 different kinds, but I did. So she does 2 different silk of the month clubs. She has you can get 2 colors that are variegated or multicolored, and you can get 2 25 yards of those skeins, or you can get 2 50-yard skeins of those 2, but pay twice as much. And that's the one that I opted into. That was starting this beginning of this year, started January. And so this is Twinkle, which is also a color of fabric that she has, which is really pretty. And then this is Ethereal, which is pink, beige, and purple, like a coral beige and purple. It's really pretty. And Twinkle is teal, purple, and like a fuchsia. So that's also really pretty. But I could do ink circles in that or something along those lines. And then her regular silk of the month club has a group of colors that are kind of in a set, and I received that as well, and I'm not sure why. She does send it with her stuff sometimes of hey, do you want to try this out? But since I'm already in the other one, I don't know what that's about. But this month it was a group of purples. So we have Peace of Mind, and these are all 10-yard skeins, and they're 6 ply. This is Lily of the Nile, which is a little bit lighter. And then we've got Sugar Plum, darker purple. lavender, nice lavender color. And then clematis, which is a nice dark purple. It's very, this is, yeah, like there are those dark purple clematises. Those are so beautiful. That makes sense. But yeah, so I have those as well. I'm not sure if I was supposed to get them, but they're the January 2022 Silk of the Month card. So, and there's everything else from I think everything else, but I think I'm missing, I don't know what I did with it. So, well, I think I left it out, but I'm gonna, actually Memphis Sarah E posted a picture of her and I with these tiny little stitched versions of the Steel City Stitchers logo. Victor, Flawed Sir on Instagram, did those, and he made a whole bunch of them. He made one for everybody that would have attended. Not all 150 people attended because of the weather and other things, but there was one for each of everybody. So I have one, but I didn't bring it out here apparently. Sorry. But you can go check it up on Instagram. They're tiny. They're on black fabric. It's beautiful. They're amazing. So Victor is amazing, and yeah, it was great. Those were really cool to get. I did purchase a needle minder from Rebel Stitcher Designs from her trunk show with the Crafty U, and this is the Dumbledore hat with the LGBT flag and the flag. So I liked that one, or not the Dumbledore hat, but the sorting hat from Harry Potter. But in the message of what the story meant to a lot of people. And okay, so we also received several charts, a couple charts from there. Wrought Iron Stitching, she was there at the retreat, and she provided a chart of these snowflake mittens, which was really pretty. The actual model was there as well. It's really beautiful. Really cool. So this SCS 2022 piece. And then My Studio Creates, Brooke, also sent us this Steel City Stitchers retreat piece that is SCS Retreat Yinzer City, which is this one. Very nice, very fun. And then we got a fun little needle minder that has the SCS logo there, and a coupon for Frosted Pumpkin. Or no, they sent us a pattern and a coupon, so I can't show you the pattern. But it's a cute little piece. Okay, so let's start with fabric. So Janine, who runs the Crafty U in Cleveland, Ohio, she was there running the store. She brought a store in and did everything, a pop-up store. It was amazing. She had all this fabric. She had so much. She purchased a lot, and it was all beautiful. And she sold a lot of it, almost all of it. And so the first day, and of course everything, people are looking over everything and all of that. And I found several that I wanted and went ahead and purchased it. And then I heard later that they would actually cut it. You don't have to get the full size pieces of it. but I was like, well, I'll use it. So, I mean, and then when there was still fabric the next day, she did a 20% off sale, but they wouldn't cut it. So you could only get the piece that they had, or you could have them cut it, but they would charge you full price for it. So what I picked up, this I got in the 20% off sale, but it is this is a piece of vintage country mocha. It's a fat quarter, 36 count linen vintage country mocha. I know that I will find I will stitch something on this. It's one of those standards that it's beautiful and everybody likes having it. And I have, but I was like, it's 20% off. It's a good price anyway. Yeah, let's just do that. So I also purchased this, and this is from Under the Sea Fabrics. It's a 32 count linen. It's called Sea God. And I purchased a fat half of this. So here's the part you can see. It's a beautiful dark green. And then other parts is also, you got these beautiful pieces. Yeah. So I got that. From Seraphim Fabrics, which I have not stitched on any of her stuff before, I purchased this piece of Fool's Gold. And this is a 32 count linen as well. Beautiful, beautiful piece. I love this kind of color. But yeah. And then I purchased, this is, it doesn't say, I'm pretty sure this is 36. I'll have to count it because it's not actually circled. It was in the pile of 36, so maybe it's not. Well, anyway, I'll have to count it. But this is Ancient from Picture This Plus. And I have not stitched on this before, but it's, it's kind of like the modeling. Yeah. I think it's 36. It's definitely it may be 40. I don't know. I'll have to count it, but it was in the pile of 36 or in the section of 36. So I assumed it was. And then I purchased, this is from Fiber on a Whim. This is called Sand, and this is 40 count. No, 36 count. No. Newcastle is 40. Yeah. So yeah, 40 count. There it is. Not reading it. This is what I think I'm gonna do. I might use this for Garden Stars. So beautiful piece, 40 count linen. Let's see. And so I haven't done everything. I haven't found all my greens yet. This is just the pile of greens that I currently have kind of set up to use. And I probably won't use all of these, but I need more greens. But this is what I have so far. Sorry, part of this came out. So I want to, anyway. So, yeah, I think that would work pretty well. I know that part of the concern is some of the yellowy greens that it stands out in person, but those are also not my favorite greens. So I know the called for is quite a few different colors of green. Now you can consolidate stuff, and I want to have some nice different ones, but yeah. So this is, one other thing that I did purchase, and it came later than, peacock green, which is this one. Yeah, this is a Gloriana peacock green that came. It was I purchased it from 123 Stitch and it was out of stock, and then it finally came back and then they got it. But this is the evergreen. This is the one that came in the box, right? this is the current plan. Things can change, but it's also a nice, beautiful neutral that would fit. I could do lots of things on this. So I'm getting more comfortable doing stuff on 40 count, and also because it's 40 count, I use one strand, and therefore it's easier to, I wouldn't have to worry about the silk, the budget for the silk, but it's also going to be my birthday start, so I'm kind of want it to be special. I'm not starting a whole bunch of things this year, or that's the plan. Okay, I also purchased this ornament kit from Satsuma Street at the retreat, the Crafty You. It's this owl wise guy. I saw this and needed to stitch. There was a model there. There's probably dog hair on this. Is the name of the piece that I saw. There's probably cat hair on this, but I'm gonna do the dog one. And they did it with some pins, and I got the pins as well because you're supposed to, yeah. But this is Jabco pins, and it's wolf, and it's got a little paw print. So I'm gonna do this at some point. I don't know that I'll do it as a pillow, but it makes sense that there would be dog hair on a pillow because the dogs would lay on the pillow. But I also feel like it would make sense on my things to like that it just gets in there. Not because it's, as I'm stitching it, there's dog hair that gets kind of woven in because of the fabric and everything. So, isn't that right, Augie? Yeah. He's passed out on the couch now. I think he's tired from being with the young dog. Okay, Gathering Berries is the last piece that I purchased, or the last chart. This is from Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell, and I liked this one, and then I convinced Zan to buy another one that she was like, oh, I need to do that. But see, Zan and I are different. I purchase fabric when I don't need to. Zan purchased charts when she says she doesn't need to. And so I feel like she was like, oh, you only you only got those charts? You're doing so good. And then, but that was not the problem with the fabric. That's the problem for me. And then she's the opposite. She just keeps buying charts. But she's like, I need to wait till I get the other one done. But anyway, that's the end of our, it's really fun to go shopping with someone that stitches versus, just on your own or anything like that. So that was another fun part of the retreat, just being able to do that. I do have a stitchy friend here that I can go stitch with, and we have shopped at our LNS here together, but it's fun to do that. Okay, let's talk about some books and media in general. First of all, I have the new Legends of Arceus or Arceus Pokemon game for the Switch, and I'm really enjoying it. So that's also cut into my stitching time a little bit. I did play that on the plane more than Stitch, but I didn't really play it that much during the retreat. But that has been a thing. I also, there's a new season of RuPaul's Drag Race that started at the beginning of the year. That's continuing to go on. I'm enjoying that. And then there's it's being broadcast in the UK and it's available online, but it's called RuPaul's Drag Race UK versus the World. And it's kind of like an all-stars version of the show, but people from all different of the franchises. So there are some queens from the US, there are some Canadian queens, there are some UK queens, there's a Belgian queen, Holland queen, a queen from Drag Race Holland, and a queen from who's one of the judges on Drag Race Thailand. She is competing, and it's a really good show. I'm really enjoying it. That's just one episode has happened. The second one I think should be out tomorrow, so that will be fun. And what else? I think that's about it for books and stuff, or for movies and stuff. Let's talk about books. Okay, first up, I finished this book, The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks, which is by Mackenzie Lee. And so this is the third book in a series about the Montague siblings. The first book is Gentleman's Guide to Scandal and something. And then the second one is A Lady's Guide. There's three siblings, Henry. Monty is his nickname. Montague is the oldest son, oldest of the siblings. He has a sister, Felicity. She is the middle child. And then they have a much younger brother that is Adrian Montague. And in the first book, the older siblings go off to Europe. The daughter is going to be going to a finishing school there and to be married off and everything. And then Henry, or Monty, is traveling there with with one of his best friends from the country, or from a neighboring family to him, who they're doing the tour of Europe that young men would do, young British men would do during that time period. And these, I don't know that there's actually a set time periods like given to these. It seems like it's maybe the mid to late 1600s, somewhere around there. But the North America has certainly been discovered, and there are certainly colonies going on, especially in the Caribbean. Percy, who is Monty's friend, is the child of a second son of a noble family that went to Barbados, one of the British colonies in the Caribbean, and came back with a child. His mom, he's an illegitimate child, or he's, I don't know if they said that, going back that far, I don't remember if he was born out of wedlock, but he is biracial, and so he doesn't have the same access that his peers do, but he did go to school. He does have education. He's a very good violin player, and so he does start to do some work as a musician, but he's going with Monty on the grand tour. And Percy also suffers from epilepsy, which at this time they treated as, you have a mental illness and you need to go to an asylum. And so at the end of the trip, he's supposed to go to a hospital for treatment in Holland, which is really just going to be an asylum away from the family, and so that, there's not a scandal of that. But Monty doesn't know that, nor does Felicity. But they get in. Monty is also quite a bit of an alcoholic at the beginning of the series, and he has a very abusive father, and is bisexual, certainly. He loves Percy, but he's been kicked out of Eton, and he's had a lot of other problems for fooling around with other boys, and his father is trying to having him go on this tour, but he's gonna have to come back and do settle down and start as part of the family business. And they have a baby brother that is literally an infant at the time that they leave to go on tour. And that all happens. There's a whole bunch of adventures that they go on in the first and second book. The second book is more from Felicity's point of view. They don't go back to their family, and they continue on trying to make their own way in the world, the two older siblings. And that's kind of where it ends after book 2. Those two are pretty set close in time. This is several years later. Adrian is about to be, or is an adult, is 18 or about. He has been raised thinking he's an only child. Now, his siblings left home before he was old enough to, speak or remember them or anything, and his parents, his father, essentially treated them like they don't exist anymore, even though he knew they existed. And their mother also did the same, more, I think, from her own preservation but I mean, she could have done something. But anyway, so he is a young gentleman. His father is a very powerful conservative member of the House of Lords, and he is being tasked with, he's going to take a seat in the House as the junior. His father's title has a subsidiary title that's attached with it, that usually like the heir would get that title before he becomes the higher title when the father steps down or dies or whatever. So using that, he's going to become a part of the House of Lords. But he is also a very, very intelligent man. I think the author said in the interview that she wrote him with the intention of what we call Asperger's syndrome, showing that they didn't have a name for it, but he's very intelligent, very knowledgeable about several things, and including political systems. He is also very liberal compared to his conservative father. He believes in to fight for the working man's rights and other things, and he especially is very concerned with the workhouse system that's going on in the UK or in Great Britain, and trying to do away with that and show the injustices involved in that system. Anyway, so Adrian, he's named after Hadrian, the emperor, but Adrian is kind of adjusting to that, trying to figure out how to stand up for himself. He has a fiance that he loves, and she is also very strong-willed. Her older brother is a member of the House of Commons and is a more liberal member of the Whig Party, and he Adrian is trying to figure that out when he comes across a mystery from his deceased mother, and she years back had been in a shipwreck and had been the lone survivor, and she kept with her a spyglass with her at all times. But when she died, she didn't have the spyglass on her. And so his father warns him and says, don't get obsessed with this. This is not, this ruined your mother. I don't want this to ruin you. But his father's also very old and can't really keep up. Adrian tries to look into the spyglass. He wants to know more about it and find out if there's something else about his mother's death. In doing that, he runs into Monty, who lives in London, operates a shipping company out of London, and does all these things, but he doesn't know. He knows that Adrian exists, but he doesn't want anything to do with him. He doesn't know anything about him, really. But Adrian doesn't know who he is or why there's a man that looks like him and his father, but older. And so they end up going on an adventure to try and find out more about this spyglass. They come into, there's pirates, they meet Felicity, continue on, and kind of what you get further, Adrian also has another mental illness, or has a mental illness that is, I think it's manic depressive or bipolar disorder, something along those lines. I'm not familiar with the exact terminology, and they certainly didn't have the terminology to discuss it at the time period. But their mother had it, and it seems like Adrian has it as well. And so he does see some things that aren't there at times, but he is, so they go through their adventure and then get to the point where they go through their adventure to try and solve this mystery about the spyglass. It's very good. I really enjoyed this series. The author also said that this is the last one in the series. She's not planning on doing any more. But it's really nice. These siblings, Adrian, Monty, and Percy, who is, and Felicity kind of have had their story, but this is more Adrian and Monty kind of getting to know each other, becoming siblings, and choosing to be siblings and to have a relationship even though they don't have to. And then also Felicity comes to that as well, but it focuses more on the brothers at first, and she kind of comes into it later. But it's a very good story. I really enjoyed it. Do you want to come back up? You want to come here? Come here. Come here, Lucky. Come on. Oh, I did get this hoodie from the convention as well. It was one, you could pre-order them, and then we picked them up there. Okay, next up, I listened to this book called Foundry Side. It's book 1 of a trilogy, and it's by Robert Jackson Bennett. Book 2 is out, and then the final book will be coming out later this year. But Foundry Side is, so some people have described it as science fiction, and I think it's more like, it's more like a steampunk type of situation, setting. If it's science fiction, it's more steampunk than it's certainly not in space, and no starships or anything like that. But on this world, there is a ability of some people. Well, there's a method to convince items to do things. So it's really about blending or bending reality, it seems to be. So some of the examples that they go, and this is mostly called scriving. And so like they have created horseless carriages by creating a system to make the wheels believe that they are on a hill and rolling downward, so they start to roll. So it's kind of about making the object believe something about it, and then therefore it does what it thinks it is happening versus reality, and that alters reality. It's set in the city of Tivon, which is controlled by merchant houses. There's 4 big ones that kind of essentially control everything. There's no real city government, no city police, anything like that. The merchant houses control it all. The main character, Sanchia, is a thief, and the book starts off with her attempt to steal something, and then kind of goes from there. What she steals is really important, and lots of people want it, and then it leads her through an adventure, and joined up by several other people that help her along the way, until kind of the climax. But the history of the world, long ago there was a civilization that these people call the Occidentals, and mostly they call them that because they're from the West. So they don't really have another name for their society, but they were led by people they called the Hierophants, which they don't really, the present day people don't really have a full understanding of what that is, but they kind of think that they were giants or they were somehow masters of scribing and could alter reality by with what they could do. Anyway, the Tavon, that society kind of fell apart. Nobody really knows why. People come back to rebuild, things go on. Tavon finds a cache of ancient artifacts from the Occidentals, and also explains some things about scribing, and they use that to create their first kind of create the scribed objects, and in doing that they are able to greatly leap forward in technology compared to any of their neighbors, and so they essentially took over the known part of the world to them, this whole area. They turned the outliers into kind of plantations or colonies or that kind of stuff, but they essentially rule the world that they know of. Anyway, it's a lot of political intrigue from different factions. There's a lot of that going on. I really enjoyed it. Sanchia is a really interesting character. She is a lesbian. That's kind of revealed later, but it's certainly not the point of the book, but it is just a facet of her character. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Excuse me. I would say that the writing style doesn't feel super polished. I remember, I don't really have good examples, but at certain times I felt kind of annoyed about things. One thing is coming to me. So the author has a tendency to have a character like to repeat things, and not necessarily just like repeat phrases or that kind of stuff, but to have a character kind of say that they're going to do something and then shows you them doing it versus just like having it done. And so I felt like it was a little kind of repetitive at times about some stuff. I also thought just kind of the dialogue for some of them felt closer to an exaggeration than a legitimate character, but maybe that was just kind of my feel of it. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I purchased the sequel, the second book, and have started it. But it is very good as well. So far, I'm not that far into it, but so after I finished that, I was like, I want to read something that I want to reread something. And so I pulled up The Last Sun by K.D. Edwards, which is part of the Tarot sequence. This is book 1. So I talked about this last year. I read it last year, read it again. It's such a good book. I really enjoyed it. It is a LGBT... It's not a romance book, but it does have sex in it. It has gay sex in it. Not as... I mean, it's there. But... So this is the world. I guess it's an urban fantasy, but it's set in the modern day, but Atlantis is real. And when... for much of human history, Atlantis has existed. Or for all of human history, Atlantis has existed, but Atlantis was kept secret by magic and spells and things. But when humanity invented satellites and the ability to take pictures from so far away, the magic that Atlantis had relied on no longer was enough to keep it secret. And so in like the 60s, Atlantis reveals itself to humanity, and then there's the Atlantean World War, which is a war fought by humans on one side and Atlantis on the other. And it ended up with Atlantis losing. The Emperor of Atlantis is killed in the war or somewhere around there. And the Atlantean homeland is like a nuclear wasteland, essentially. Atlantis itself is the island, is which is in the Atlantic, where they have it, is uninhabitable, and the Atlanteans flee. Several decades go by, and Atlanteans themselves decide to create a new homeland, and they purchase the island of Nantucket, kind of as a group. They don't have an emperor anymore. There still is an Atlantean empress, but she doesn't seem interested in doing anything related, and she doesn't even live on New Atlantis. But aside from that, they have a whole system of different houses and thrones. So each major house is led by somebody on a particular throne, and each of the thrones is related to like a tarot card sequence or a tarot card name. As they describe it, humanity got the name of the tarot cards from them, and so there are things like the Justice. Well, there's Lady Justice, Lord Tower, Lord Sun, Lady World, Lord Hierophant, Lord Magician, Lady Priestess, the Hanged Man, the Devil, the Wheel, all these things, or Lord Devil, I guess. Anyway, so they're called the Arcana, which is also what's used in tarot. But so they have there's a different throne for each of them, and they all have their own kind of domain, and they cover different things towards the aspects of the Atlantean society. But they are essentially, the Arcana are the true rulers of Atlantis. At least at this point, there's no emperor or anything. They do that. So our main character is named Rune Saint John, and he is the heir to the Sun Throne. When he was, he's probably in his mid-30s, mid-40s, or at least late 20s. The way he's talked at times, things seem like it's been a while, but maybe mid-20s. But when he was younger, the Sun Throne was attacked. His father was killed. Much of his house was destroyed. Much of his people were killed. His mother was already dead, so she didn't die in the attack on their house. But he's one of the few survivors, and he was assaulted during he was out of the estate when the attack started, and he came back when it was going on. It was not a sanctioned attack by the houses against the Sun Throne, which they do have a system for going forward with that. But they did that, he also has a companion, which is a human that is bonded to him, that allows him to, they have kind of like a warder Aes Sedai relationship from the Wheel of Time, but they can feel each other's emotions, or at least the companion can feel the Atlanteans' emotions. But they're connected, and they can do lots of things. They're typically like, the Atlanteans can use magic, they can do lots of stuff. And then the humans, their companions are typically super athletic, very skilled fighters to protect their Atlantean. So his companion's name is Bran, also Saint John. They use the high houses, or the whatever the Arcana houses use Saints as their last name. They just did it because they felt like it would make them more approachable than not having anything, but or something along those lines. But anyway, so the book starts. He is participating. He's kind of become like a, not really, well, sort of a private investigator. He kind of does things for different people. He has worked a deal out, Rune has, with the Tower. The Tower was good friends with his father, and so he does work for the Tower on occasion. And at the beginning of the book, he is working for the Tower, participating in a raid against the Lover's Throne. Lady Lovers is, or the Heart Throne, I guess. Lady Lovers is very corrupt at this point, and so the rest of many of the Atlantean houses have decided that if they allow her to continue unchecked, that she will become a threat to Atlantis, and that humanity will want to destroy them. She's doing bad stuff, experimenting on people, playing around with emotion and doing all sorts of stuff. Anyway, Rune participates in the raid on the house, and comes across Lady Lovers herself during that attack, and she convinces him to deliver a package for him, which ends up being her grandson, and that he's to deliver the boy to his age of maturity, which is 21, and he's like 17 at the time of this, so or 16. Anyway, that's Max or Matthias, and so he kind of got tricked into doing that, and then that's the very beginning, and then the Tower has another job for him, which is to find another Atlantean scion who's gone missing, but nobody's trying to find him yet. The Tower is the godfather to this Adam, who is the second son of Lady Justice, or the second child of Lady Justice. And so the Tower is concerned about Adam and wants Rune to go find him. And so he kind of starts off this journey, finds Adam, and then they start a relationship. And there's a lot more that comes forward of that. But the Atlantis is facing a threat that they don't really know about, but or most of it doesn't know about, but Rune and Adam and the Tower are trying to stop this from happening. And it's a very good book. The second book is called The Hanged Man, and it's essentially a continuation. Max, or Matthias, was promised into marriage to the Hanged Man, which is the Lord of the Gallows Throne, who is a very despicable Atlantean, and Rune is trying to stop Max from being taken against his will, and it kind of involves a lot. Now, I will say that there's certainly a lot of difficult things that are talked about. Rune himself was assaulted as a child, and he is still dealing with that, and so that is a thing, sexually assaulted. There's a lot of other, not really gore, but like there's certainly a lot of trauma that's discussed, so that happens in these books. But I really love it. It also has a very much a found family theme to it. Bran and then Adam later. It's a really nice story. It's not very, there's some sex, but it's certainly not a romance book type of thing. It's more of an urban fantasy, but they also, have stuff at times. My bad. But yeah, it's a really great story. It's a great book. I loved it. I they're really great too. So that's the 4 books that I have finished so far. And that's pretty much it. That's the 5th book that I finished this year. I talked about the Song of Achilles last time, but otherwise, that's pretty much it. So just under 2 hours. Wow. I knew this was going to be a long one, but anyway, I hope you all have a great time. Continue stitching, and I will see you in the next one. Yeah, so everybody have a good one. Bye.